Hello, this is Darcie the Dog Trainer, owner and head trainer of CommuniCanine Training and Behavioral Counseling, where it's my passion and purpose to connect dogs and people. And today I wanted to teach you a simple method that I use for introducing dogs that are both on leash together. The biggest risk in introducing on-leash dogs is that those leashes get tangled. That's probably the hardest thing to deal with because they love to circle and then the leashes get tangled up. And unfortunately, I've seen in too many cases where that's happened and the dogs were not actually enjoying each other's interaction. A fight has ensued and now we can't get the dogs apart because the leashes are tangled up. So watch on as I teach you a really simple way to avoid that from happening and to avoid the altercation in the first place. Hello, this is Darcie the Dog Trainer of CommuniCanine, and today we're going to be introducing little Nikki over there to Cricket. So Cricket's a mature dog. She's almost 5 years old. She's a terrier mix. Nikki is just over 3-month-old Alaskan Malamute puppy who hasn't had a lot of dog socialization yet because she just finished her second vaccines. So when you're introducing your puppy to a new dog, now this isn't going to be an on-leash introduction, and those are sometimes done differently than off-leash introductions. So the important thing with on-leash introductions is that all the dog's leashes stay loose. So you want to make sure you're not going in like this with one dog dragging you and you're restraining your dogs the whole time and everybody's tense and tight. We want leashes loose so that the dogs can move freely and naturally around each other. And now the next thing is you want to have one leash stay high and one leash go low so that if the dogs circle as dogs normally do, their leashes aren't going to get tangled up. Now with a puppy there's less concern, but if you're introducing two adults, for example, if the leashes get tangled, there's the possibility for an altercation and you can't get those dogs apart because their leashes are tangled up. So I'm going to keep my leash high and Daphne is going to keep her leash low with Nicola. And we're just going to let the dogs sniff each other and we'll see how they both do. Now we're going to read their body language a little bit to make sure they're both comfortable with the interaction. But we're going to just do, we're going to count to 3, Daphne. So we're going to walk towards each other. We're going to let them have a sniff to the count of 3. And at 3, we're both going to walk back to where we came from, okay? Nikki's ready. All right, ready? All right, let's let them meet. Let's go. Now if Nikki doesn't want to approach, that's okay. So Nikki's a little bit unsure. So 1,000, 2,000, that's it, go low, there you go. 3,000, let's go. So all Nikki's saying, so Nikki's body language said, whoa, who is this dog who's approaching me that quickly? Her bum tucked, she was a little bit unsure. As much as she was just barking over there a moment ago to say, I want to go say hi to that dog, when it actually happened, she went, maybe not, I'm not so sure. So we're going to try that. We're going to try that again. So we're going to let them approach. So Daphne, your leash is going to go low, right down, and you can even drop it on the ground if you need to. And my leash is going to stay high. We're again going to do a 3 count, and we're going to leave again. All right, let's go. So your leash is low. That's it. So, and this time, Cricket chose to walk on by. So because Cricket did that, I'm not going to force the interaction. It's really important to remember when you're socializing any dogs together or introducing any dogs together, you don't force it. So the biggest mistake you can make is to say, hey, you should go up there and say hi. If Cricket doesn't want to say hi, Cricket isn't going to say hi. So if Cricket's interested, she will. Oops, hello, your leash is low, that's it. Oh, and Nikki says, I gotta go. Good. So the general guidelines that I used there were one person keeps their dog's leash high, the other person lets their dog's leash go low, and the dogs only approach each other if they're both calm and comfortable to begin with, and they only stay for a maximum of 3 seconds. So you count it out, 1,000, 2,000, and by 3,000, you're leaving. You're saying, let's go, and walking away. It doesn't take more than 3 approaches like Nikki and Cricket did before you know for sure whether those dogs want to play, whether they have 0 interest in one another, or whether they actually don't like each other. Their body language is going to be really clear as you go along. So you're only going to allow those interactions to happen if the dogs seem somewhat comfortable with one another. But 3 seconds maximum until they say, hey, we want to be friends, and then by all means they can interact a lot longer. I will mention that we were working on a dead-end cul-de-sac in a rural neighborhood, so there was no traffic. So when Daphne dropped Nikki's leash, Nikki was actually running over to her dad, who was off behind the camera. So make sure everybody's safe. Don't drop leashes if you're anywhere near traffic, obviously. And if there's any risk of that, do the introductions somewhere in a field or in an enclosed space. Have fun with your dogs, and I'll see you next week.